Welcome. We have, on the main altar, we have Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda Mayi, and Gopal is sitting on her lap. Yes. So, yes, we have Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda Mayi. They're sitting on a couch, and there's Gopal who is sitting on her lap. And then on the right of Nanda Maharaj, just there's like another platform under. There's Balaram, and on the left of Krishna, there's Subhasaka. And under that sweet, loving family, there's also Dhavali and Yamuna Mata. So Dhavali, she's one of Balaram's favorite cows. She's white in color. And Yamuna is also one of Krishna's main cows, which is Shyam in color. So, for me personally, cows, they have a very special place in my heart because the first service I did to the Vaishnavas was taking care of the cows. This was in 2006. So I went to that Bhaktivedanta Eco village in South India in Karnataka, and they had 13 cows there. And so basically that's the first service I did. I spent 4 months there. I remember like it was yesterday, because you cannot forget serving the cows. And in the morning I will milk them. After that I will brush them, and because they were spending the whole day in the jungle, they had big ticks, but huge one, like big like this, huge. And with my thumb I will take them out like that. And then I will brush them, and then with a stick I will take them out in the forest. In the jungle, because it was in the middle of the jungle, in the mountains. Wow. There was cobras and elephants and tigers in that jungle, very wild. And actually, yes, so I was not so used. It was first for me taking care of the cows. And like the first times I was taking them out, they didn't take me seriously. And I'll let you know why after that.
It takes time.
Yes, because the main one, there was like the senior cow, the biggest one. As soon as I was opening the Goshala, the barn, she will go straight. Since she was a senior, everyone was following her. And she will go straight for the garden, eating the flowers, the fruits, the vegetables. And I was pushing her, shouting, and she didn't move an inch. And the villagers, they were laughing and laughing and laughing at me. And you know what I realized? Actually, when you serve the cows, you have to come as a child. I was trying to be a master, and I didn't know how to be a child. So, and I realized that, as I was serving the cows, and I realized that I have to change my disposition and I have to become a child. So I meditate on this, and the next morning I came back very humbly, just like simply like a child, and it changed everything. After that, they started listening to me. And when you serve the cows, you realize how much they are your mothers. For those who are milking cows, we can see they take you like their children. It's quite special. And the cow, she was kind of turning and licking me. It's just like they do for Krishna. We can see how they have, will glorify the maternal love of the cows also today. We can see that they have very special motherly love for Krishna. And we feel it when we serve the cows. We can see they have motherly love. When you're milking the cows, you feel like a child. You put yourself under a bosom, and you just want to take shelter of her. It's very special. And one thing I realized by serving the cows is that how is it we are not living with cows anymore? For me, it's like I cannot understand this. We're meant to be with cows. Huh? It's just so complete. There's a perfect symbiosis, no? Symbiosis between the bee and the flower. Well, there's a perfect symbiosis between the man and the cow. So we cannot live without the cows. They're in the mode of goodness, and when you serve the cows, you feel that also. They put you in the mode of goodness. Because you have to go at the rhythm, You cannot push them, they won't push you. So it's like they really bring you to the mode of goodness. And not only that, but actually serving the cows is a very special service because it really pleases Krishna. They say every time you scratch a cow, Krishna is pleased. And Shivaram Maharaj, I don't know if it was in the lecture or in a book, he said that actually if you spend your whole life, taking care of a cow from its birth to its death, you can actually go back home, back to God, doing that service. So that's quite special. Huh? It shows you how dear it is to Krishna, Goseva. Because he himself is taking care of the cows, so naturally, when he sees others taking care of his cows, then he's really appreciative of that. So there's one verse I'd like to read with you from the Venu Gita. It's, Srimad Bhagavatam 10th Canto, chapter 21, verse 13. But before, I'll just recite. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Gavasha Krishna Mukha Nirgata Venu Gita Piyushamuthabita Karna Putai Pibantyaha Shavasnutastana Payaka Valasmatastur Govindamatmani Drishashru Kalas Prishantyaha. Translation. Are you ready? For this sweet, beautiful glorification from the lips of the gopis. Using the upraised ears as vessels, the cows are drinking the nectar of the flute song flowing out of Krishna's mouth. The calves, their mouths full of milk from their mother's moist nipples, stand still as they take Govinda within themselves through their tear-filled eyes and embrace him within their hearts. Jai. So, regarding the cows, I was trying to find a few things that Srila Prabhupada said. He says something very beautiful. He says that another gopi said to her friends, this must be in the Krishna book. I don't have the reference, but this must be in Krishna book. My dear friends, the cows are also enchanted as soon as they hear the transcendental sound of Krishna's flute. To them, it feels like a stream of nectar, and they immediately perk up their long ears just to catch the liquid nectar from the flute. As for the cows, they are seen with their mothers' udders in their mouths, but they cannot suck the milk. They remain struck with devotion, and tears flow down their eyes, vividly illustrating how they embrace Krishna heart to heart. So, actually, we could say that Krishna cannot live without Radharani. Krishna cannot live without the gopis. Krishna cannot live without the sakas, but also he cannot live without the cows. And you can see that without cows there's no Vrindavan. That is for sure. Actually, cows are a very essential, integral part of Vrindavan. And we see what is the first thing Krishna does in the morning. He goes to serve the cows every morning. But okay, I'll ask you some questions. I'd like to see how much you know about the cows in Nandagram. So we know that every morning first, Balaram, he's the one with his buffalo horn. He blows on his buffalo horn and he wakes up all the sakas. Actually, most sakas are staying in Barshana, which is the birth town of Srimati Radharani, and the place where our beloved parents, Kirtada, Sundari, and Vrishabhanu Maharaj are residing. They have also a huge Goshala. I mean, when we think about the size of the Goshala, it is more in terms of Boma Vrindavan, because it is said that Nandagram's Goshala is 900,000 cows, Vrishabhanu Maharaj must be around the same also. But in Goloka Vrindavan, there are billions and billions of cows. We cannot imagine the size of the Goshala of Vrishabhanu Maharaj. It is, just out of this world. So basically, most sakas are staying in Barshana, like Sridham Saka, Subhas Saka, Ujval. Madhu Mangal is an exception, a separate case, because he's staying with Krishna, in Nandagram. He's residing with him. Just like Srimati Radharani, she has some maidservants also staying with her. While Krishna, one of his best friends, is Madhu Mangal. And he's always staying close to him. And you know what pleases Krishna the most with Madhu Mangal? What do you think pleases Krishna the most in his relationship with Madhu Mangal?
His jokes.
Yeah, it's one of them, but actually it depends on who's speaking, you know. But what I'm remembering is that is appetite. Actually, you know, Madhu Mangal is especially empowered with his appetite to please Krishna. Krishna is really pleased because one thing is that we know that it is described in Krishna Bhavanamrita, you know, from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Every morning, Krishna, it is a huge table, and the only, image I can get of this world close to it is Harry Potter. You see this long wooden table, you know, full of chairs. When I see that, it reminds me of the long table in the courtyard, you know, of Nanda Bhavan, where Nanda Maharaj is staying with all his associates. So they just have this huge and huge and huge table, and Krishna is sitting there. In front of him is Nanda Maharaj and the Surit Sakas, the older Sakas like Balaram, who are both in Sakyaras and also a little bit of parental mood because they are the protectors of Krishna. Before they go in the pasturing grounds, Mother Yashoda, she asked them to equip themselves with weapons. They take arrows and bows, and they take spears and swords. Because we know in Boma Vrindavan, during Krishna's time in Boma Vrindavan, how many demons were there, you think, for his full time in Boma Vrindavan? Have you ever calculated? I did the calculation. Because there's much more. There's one in the morning and one in the afternoon. How many years did he spend in Vrindavan?
Oh, you mean there's a demon every day?
Every day there's one demon in the morning and one in the afternoon. And you know how they knew it was time to take lunch? Oh. After taking killing the morning demon. This was their timing, you know. Okay, we're finished. We had a good fight. Now it's time to take our breakfast, you know. So I calculated, you know how many? 5,000 demons. 5,000. Only a few are described in Srimad Bhagavatam. There's 5,000 demons that Kamsa sent to kill Krishna. So many other, you know. Sorry?
Where does it say that there was a demon every morning and evening?
That's a good question.
I remember hearing that too.
Sorry?
I remember hearing that as well.
Yeah? I heard that a long time ago and it stayed with me. So I cannot say on top of my mind exactly where it is. Okay. But I'm 100% sure I read that, you know, okay. For sure. Okay. So can you imagine? I mean, it's crazy. Like even one took the form of a calf. Vatsasura. Vatsasura. So, yeah, so many demons. Why did I speak about the demons? I kind of lost my train of thought.
I remember that his older sakas that take care of him.
Yes. Okay, the Surit Sakas. Yes. So yes, they're in front of Krishna. Then who is on the left? Subal Saka. Because on the left is the loving affairs of Krishna. Yeah. On the right is the friendly affairs. It's Sridham Saka. And in front is Nanda Maharaj and the Surit Sakas. So yes, they're all together like this. So first, sorry?
Where does Madhu Mangal sit?
Madhu Mangal? Well, Madhu Mangal is is privy to Krishna's loving affairs, so we'll be on the left side. Yes. So although it is described in the Preyo Bhakti Rasarnava that Madhu Mangal is in the category of a clown. In French we say bouffon. A clown, you know. Still... Oh, yes? Haribol?
I think he's in Batu, right? He's called Batu?
Yeah, it's called Batu, exactly. Does that mean clown?
I think that means, or Vita, no, what's the name? I'm trying to remember from, sorry to interrupt.
No problem, yes. So, yes, so Batu or Vita you're saying, no?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for the detail.
Is that French word?
Bouffon in French we say. I have that because the first time I read that book was translated into French. I read it in French first before I read it in English. So I have that name Bouffon, we say in French, for a clown. So although it is described that Madhu Mangal is in that category that make jokes, still, I mean, he has a very personal and confidential relationship with Krishna and is privy to Krishna's dealings with the gopis. So that's why he's in the left. So basically, every morning, all these sakas, it's very beautiful. Huh? So first of all, Balaram is blowing on his buffalo horn, and that's how that transcendental vibration is waking up all the sakas in Barshana. So they're sleeping peacefully, remembering how many cakes they took from Krishna. Because dreaming is something very special. Because when you dream, I remember the first time I heard the story of Gopa Kumar, I was a little sad for him because, when he enters into Goloka Vrindavan, he starts describing his daily pastimes with Krishna. And after describing all the different activities he does with him, he says that at the end of the day, when he goes to bed, he goes to bed. And he spends the whole night thinking about Krishna and his daily activities of the previous day that he did with him. So I was feeling sad. I was saying, oh, that's sad actually. Then it's finished for the whole night. And then the next morning he goes back again. But actually, I was wrong. Because when the Sakas, or all, for that matter, all the Brajbasis who are not accompanying Krishna and Radharani in the evening or the nightly pastimes, actually when they dream, dreaming is something very, very, very special. Because when you dream, you have time to actually relive. First, you go again through that experience. But because Vrindavan is, not only Shuddha Sattva, but because it's pure bliss, it's prema, actually what happens is that when you relive an experience through the dream, you intensify the moment. So basically, for example, you took a piece of cake from Krishna. He wanted you to taste one of his sweets, so you tasted it and you took one of the sweets that your mother cooked. You gives it to Krishna. And then Krishna, he gives you again the sweet that he has personally tasted. So the sweet that you have tasted from Krishna, when you experience it again during the night, then there's much more sweetness in the sweet, because everything is ever fresh, ever new, ever expanding. What you go through again, that is what we mean by eternity. How it can be eternal is that even when you go through the same experience again, even in a dream, that experience is much more sweeter, much more deeper. And you even get the time, whatever experience you are meditating or experiencing on in the dream, you can just fully relish it to your full satisfaction, for the whole night if you want. So that's what is very beautiful in the dreaming, because you go through again the events of the day, but with much more maturity and depth and, relishing. So this is the dreaming of the Brajbasis. So every morning they're, awakened by the buffalo horn of Balaram, and then just like Mother Yashoda is doing for Krishna, every mother of Braj is doing that for their own child also, Usually coming with sometimes some of the elder sisters or brothers are coming into the room and then waking up the younger sibling. Then they is baited, and then naturally he goes to meet his group leaders, and all together they go to meet their main group leader. And after that, all the main group leaders, meaning like billions of sakas, they actually all regroup in one particular place in Barshana, outside of Barshana, before they all go together into Nandagram. And just like Gopakumari experienced, actually, when he entered into Nandagram for the first time, what was his first experience?
Crying. There was somebody crying there.
Yes, there was crying, but he saw something, and he explains that what he saw was so wonderful in millions and billions of wonderful things that he cannot describe with words what he has seen. You remember what was that thing? It was the gate of Nandagram. He was just at the gate of Nandagram, and he was completely astonished by the beauty of that gate. He says there are beauties and wonders in millions and billions that I cannot even describe what I see in front of me. And he was just at the gate of Nandagram. How beautiful it is, So there's a beautiful gate, and then there's a huge banyan tree that is just like a father who gives shelter to all the sakas, and the sakas, they like to, because they're wish-fulfilling trees, they like to hug the trees like that. And they come to take the darshan and the blessings of that special tree before they enter into Nandagram. And okay, I'll ask you another question. So we know first, how do the sakas, they meet Krishna first? What happens? How do they see Krishna first in the morning?
When he's sleeping.
Yes, exactly. Krishna is sleeping, and then Mother Yashoda, she wakes him up, and then Madhu Mangal is jumping on his bed. Sometimes like a few of the main sakas, or the most important, the closest friends of Krishna, like Subhas Saka, Sridham Saka, they come up and they go to wake up Krishna. But we know there's a huge courtyard which billions of sakas. It's like out of this world. Can you imagine like this unlimited courtyard? This is why Harry Potter should go to bed. This is the time where Harry Potter should go to bed. And this is when Vraj or Nandagram Leela is starting. So basically, it's like unfathomable. You have billions and billions of sakas in one same courtyard. But is there somebody else? Are there other Vraj Basis or Nandagram Basis? I want to ask you the question. Who else do you think is there accompanying the sakas at that time? There's a very beautiful detail I found out that I find very touching, actually. Who else is there with the sakas in that huge, gigantic courtyard? There are other personalities there.
The small children?
No. They're not humans.
Oh, monkeys come also?
There could be monkeys, but not what I was referring to.
Cows.
There can be birds. Sorry?
Cows.
Cows. Exactly. Did you know that there are a bunch of cows also that enter into the courtyard to welcome Krishna? Because for those of you who have seen maybe in traditional villages in India, what do they do with the cows?
Yeah.
They stay in the home, no?
Yeah.
It's like they live with the children. The children. Usually, what happens? The children, they're so cute. The cows. You don't want to separate yourself from them. I remember I was in Ekachakra. I wanted some personal time, and I spent 2 weeks in Ekachakra, and I was staying there at the ISKCON temple, and my room was just next to the Goshala. And for 2 weeks, you know what I've done in the morning? How I was chanting my japa. I would go to the Goshala. I would take one of the small calves, put it to my chest like that. And I would chant my whole japa like that, like hugging the calf. This is real japa. How can you not think about Krishna when you have the calf like this in your arms, Ekachakra is a very beautiful place, actually. If you want to feel Vrindavan, it's Gupta Vrindavan and Ekachakra. It's very special. And not only internally, Ekachakra.
And I can picture it because
Yes.
I stayed there.
You stayed there?
The
Yeah.
Brahmachari ashram just is
Oh.
built on top of the Goshala.
Yes, exactly. So you know that place.
Yeah.
Yeah, so special, huh? And just Ekachakra itself, what's very special in Ekachakra is both Gupta Vrindavan. No, it's Gupta Vrindavan internally in terms of the mood, but externally it is Vrindavan because you see cows everywhere, buffaloes, goats, everywhere you go, and even the houses are very traditional. You see like cow dung patties on the roofs and the walls, and it's quite special, huh?
Yeah, every village house.
Yes,
has cows.
exactly.
Mountain of cow dung.
Yes, this is Vraj, So if you want to really be in the mood of Vrindavan, you can go spend some time in Ekachakra. So yes, actually, so what happens is that the Gopas, I guess I don't recall seeing that they come with the cows in the morning because usually they just come to milk the cows and then they come to take breakfast with Krishna. So I don't think they come with all the cows because at that time the cows are in Barshana, in the different Goshalas. But they do come with the cows because where the cows are coming from, So they come with cows together and then the cows are entering with the sakas in the courtyard and then they are welcoming Krishna. So actually there's a beautiful detail I'd like to share with you. Yes. So while Mother Yashoda, she takes care of Krishna, there's a mustache cowherd. It could be Daruka. I don't have the name, but you know who Daruka is? He's an elder Gopa. When Krishna and Balaram, they go to milk the cows in the morning, there's one Gopa senior there that checks the work of the Gopas to make sure that everything is in order and everything. So it could be Daruka because it's the main Gopa of that Goshala in Nandagram. So his mustache cowherd, he enters the room and he says, "Oh Govinda, protector of cows, oh Pashupati Hari, the most qualified of the cowherds are unable to milk our restless cows, and the cows will not drink a drop of milk because of their sorrow. Your mothers look down the road with tear-filled eyes, licking their calves and filling all directions with their mooing. Agitated and unhappy, they're unable to tolerate another moment without you. Just listen to their pitiful cries. Moo. It looks like a buffalo here.
Well, that's the first. That's just cows and.
So, so basically, Yashoda, she places a small golden milking pot in Krishna's right hand, and in his left hand, a rope as bright as lightning to tie the hindlings of the cows during milking. So it's very beautiful time, Krishna. I mean, we want to speak about the cows, but every time we remember other details also. But so Krishna, he has a very beautiful, what happens first is awakened by Mother Yashoda and his most intimate friends. Then he opens the door to a very beautiful balcony made of
Jewels.
jewels. Which kind of jewels? Think for a sec.
Emerald.
Sapphires.
Sapphires.
Yes. He has an amazing sapphire balcony. Yeah. So he goes, and all the sakas are shouting, Kana, 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 please come, we want to see you. And the cows are mooing, and it's a huge festival. And actually, if you appreciate Krishna, the sakas, the cows, you can meditate because the goal of japa is to cry for Krishna. When we chant, we're crying for Krishna to have his audience. So if you imagine the sakas, what are they trying to have every morning? Krishna's audience.
Yeah.
So this is a good meditation for our japa. When we're crying to Krishna to come in our heart to, make us experience his pastimes, we can meditate on that very beautiful pastime where actually the gopas, they're begging Krishna's audience. So you could say this is exactly that same mood, Very beautiful. So yeah, it's just very sweet. Krishna is opening the doors like the hero of Vrindavan. Everyone is shouting, "Oh, Gana, Gana!" And then he shows a beautiful smile to all the sakas. And then sometimes he makes some jokes and he makes weird faces because Manga is just next to him, and this is the power of association. So they come down together to a beautiful stairways, full of jewels, and then as he come down, then all the sakas, according to their relationship with Krishna, they come to embrace him, and there's just an amazing moment at that time. And the cows are coming to lick Krishna's body. And what happens after that? Before they come out of the palace? There's another details also described. What do you think happens? Because Krishna is so much rejoicing being again with the sakas. So what Krishna does is that Mother Yashoda, she asked him to dance. She said, if you dance Kana, I will give you some milk sweets. So Krishna starts to dance with the sakas in the courtyard. Beautiful dancing, and the cows running around, and they start dancing like that. Because one day there was one Swami who said that the gopas don't know how to dance, but that's not true. I don't agree with that. To me, it's not possible. No, the gopas, they dance very, very, very beautifully, and they have special rasa dance between sakas also, with Krishna and the sakas. It's a rasa dance, but in another mood, with Krishna and the sakas. So they dance together. After that, Mother Yashoda, she gives milk sweets to Krishna and the sakas. And after, with Krishna, Balaram, and all the other sakas, which are billions of billions, they all come out of that huge courtyard, and together they go to the Goshala. Very beautiful Goshala. I think I do have some... I do have some description of the Goshala. Well, first, when Krishna enters the barn with Balaram, the curious demigod see Govinda as a black bee among white lotus flowers, and Haladar as an Airavata elephant among the great rocks of Kailash. Although the cows live in opulence surpassing that of the greatest demigods, it is explained actually, maybe it's in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, that one corner of a garden of Nandagram is more beautiful than Vaikuntha Loka. One corner. So it shows you the opulence of Nandagram. So there is opulence, but it doesn't cover the sweetness. It's an opulence that supports the sweetness, because like Nandagram or the palace of Nanda Maharaj is very, very, very beautiful. You have thousands of columns full of jewels, like a golden dome, and so many jewels, and there are described. There are also birds, different birds made of jewels that are on top of the roof.
Ashwara Kanambini.
In Ashwara Kanambini describes in detail all of this. I think also in the Govinda Lamrita, lots of details in the Govinda Lamrita. Ashwara Kanambini, maybe also a little bit in the, what's the book from Karvi Karnapura, which
Oh,
Ananda Vrindavan shampoo.
Krishnaika Kaumudi.
Yeah, in Krishna Kinika Kaumudi also there are description in Ananda Vrindavan shampoo. There's a lot of beautiful descriptions also of Govardhan, very beautiful, describing how the slopes are made of like whole jewels. You know, like you have a mountain slope full of sapphire or emeralds or rubies, like again out of this world. You know. So although the cows live in opulence surpassing that of the greatest demigods, without the comforting presence of Sri Krishna, they see their opulent barns as dull and empty. With their comfortable residential quarters have walls of crystal, roofs fashioned from jewels, roof beams cut from emerald, tall pillars molded in gold, and numerous cornices carved in ruby. Their greatest opulence is the loving glance of Gopal. Very beautiful. So, yes, we were explaining how actually they go to the Goshala. Very beautiful time where Krishna is joking with the Sakas. And as they enter, actually the cows are mooing, you know, we're saying the cows are crying and crying because they will not give one drop of milk before Krishna sucks the udder of his favorite cow. That's the signal, you know, to start the milking of the cows. And it is described now that actually this crying of the cows is more beautiful than the reciting of the Vedas. Beautiful. So they enter into the Goshala. So Krishna, he sucks into the udder, you know, and he splashes on his cowherd boyfriends. And as soon as he sucks, then it's the starting of the milking. And it's just very beautiful sound. Imagine, you know, when Krishna and the billions of sakas are just, you know, milking each cow. Yeah, the sound of the udders and the milk that flows into the pot and the gopas that are singing Krishna's qualities and glories. It's very, very, very beautiful. And actually what's very nice also, the sakas, each saka is taking care of one of Krishna's specific cow. So Krishna, he has his favorite cow who comes to welcome him. And then, you know, she embraces him and she licks his whole body. Because Krishna's body is very tasty, very because he has a very special fragrance. So, and each saka is milking one of, and it becomes, each saka has a very special relationship with one of Krishna's cows. So each saka is given, and this is for eternity. You know, every day they do milk the same cow. It's just a very personal relationship with each cow like that. And each cow is different in color. Which colors? I described in the...
Black, white, brown.
Yes, black, white, brown. Well, the four main ones are white, red, yellow, and black. So this is the four main colors, but then, wait a sec. Yes. So there are four categories, and there's 25 subdivisions. And additionally, there's 8 other qualities, such as being the color of sandalwood pulp, having tilak on the forehead, being speckled, or possessing a head shaped like a mridanga drum. I've never seen that, but I'm sure it's beautiful. Or a lion, Singha. The head of like a lion.
There's one cow named Mridanga Mukhi.
Mridanga Mukhi, exactly, to show that she has a mridanga head. And a Singha Mukhi also, the head of a lion. So in total, there's 108 groups of cows according to their physical characteristics. And each herd has a leader. And when Krishna calls the name Davali, which is a leader of white cows, interesting. So the entire group of white cows steps forward. And as they arrive, he touches the leader's muzzle with his soft pink hand, and knowing the name of each cow, Govinda, he counts each herd on
Beads.
And what he does, he goes onto a very special tree that is always there. He climbs on, I don't remember the name of the tree, but it's close to Nandagram, not so far from, it's a place also where sometimes Krishna, he meets Srimati Radharani. So he goes up the tree, and then he has a better vision of the cows. And actually, just by the sound of his flute, it's very special. He plays the flute, and every tone, every sound, every melody is to call a particular cow. And as he plays on his flute, and he counts on his beats, each sound is calling a specific cow. She's coming, and then Krishna is able to count like that. Because as the leader is coming, all the other cows are following also, like that. It's very beautiful. So, yes, we wanted, because we shared a verse with you about the love of the cows. So, I think sometimes there's a misunderstanding about Shantaras in Vrindavan. Because Shantaras in Vrindavan is only a rasa where you don't have a human form. That's it. But that doesn't mean that you have other specific feelings. So in Vrindavan, Shantaras is just the form other than human form. So, in human form, there is like servitorship, there is dasya, there's sakya, there's vatsalya, and there's
Madhurya.
madhurya, conjugal love. So, like more specifically speaking, but actually, one thing we have to understand is that, okay, so we might think that actually in Vrindavan, we have what we call a bhava svarup. Here we have a body made of matter. But in Vrindavan, we have a bhava svarup. What it is? It's a body made of feelings. Everything is feelings. So the particular feeling that we have, it expresses a form. So that's why we might think that if I have a feeling of madhurya, I can only have the form of a gopi. Or if you have the form of a vatsalya, I can only have the form of a senior gopa or gopi. But it's not like that, actually. Because the form is not limiting the feeling. It's not because I don't have the form of a gopi or a gopa that someone cannot express vatsalya. In Braj Shanta is just meaning someone doesn't have a human form. But that doesn't mean that they cannot be in Sakya, in Vatsalya, in Dasya, or even in Madhurya ras. So that's why the cows, they are in maternal loving affection for Krishna, although they have a body that is not in that is in Shantaras. But the feeling is motherly, So actually that verse is very special because these occurrences that we've described, what Prabhupada says in the Krishna book, they indicate that even the cows and the cows of Vrindavan, they knew how to cry for Krishna and embrace him heart to heart. In fact, the perfection of Krishna consciousness can be culminated in shedding tears for Krishna. So don't we think that can calves and cows shed tears for Krishna? Definitely yes. Because when Krishna plays the flute, they stop everything, even the calves, Either they are like stuck to the other like that and they're just like frozen, the car is frozen, or if the cow is chewing grass, they just stop, chewing like that, completely paralyzed. And their ears are very special because they're like cups. We should meditate on the ears of the cow. Sometimes their ears are too small to hear the nectar. So we have to, we should receive ears like cups, like the cows of Vrindavan, because their ears are so big that they can hear a lot of nectar. So that's why they can receive so much nectar from Krishna's flute, and from the sound of his voice, etc. And that's how they actually really deeply connect with him, because the cows, they can hear Krishna even from very far away. Because actually the sound is transcendental sound vibration. Just like when we chant Krishna's name, there's no distance. When Krishna speaks to the cows, just like when he plays the flute, there's no distance. He plays the flute from the forest of Vamsibhata and up to Barshana or Java, the gopis are hearing. So it's the same. Krishna is thinking about, even just thinking also, there's vibration there. And it goes into the heart of the inhabitants of Vrindavan, and then they are taken. And just like the buffalo horn it's very mystical, of Balaram, it goes mystically, and all sakas are awoken. And only the sakas are able to hear it. Just the same when Krishna plays the flute for the cows, only each specific cow is able to hear it. Very beautiful. Okay, so when the cows, they head to the forest, they are joined by black buffaloes, but also there's different kind of gopas in Vrindavan, and they have different names. I couldn't tell you what's the name of the gopas who take care of the black buffaloes. Some are taking care of goats, but not only cows are coming out of Nandagram, buffaloes and goats as well.
So why are they taking care of goats?
Sorry?
Why are they taking care of goats?
Why they're not taking care of goats?
No, why are they taking care of goats?
Well, it's part of Vrindavan. It's a good question. I've never thought about that. I mean, that's a good question. I don't know.
Why not?
Why not? Yeah.
Goats are not raised from milk.
Sorry?
Goats are not raised from milk.
Yes.
Yeah, they do.
No.
No, I mean goats also produce milk.
Yes, they
But
produce milk.
Goats they also eat all the weeds and they eat anything.
Okay. So they're
They have a different application if you want to do land management.
okay.
They're very good at cleaning up places.
So he thinks that cows don't.
Okay.
Usually, at
That's
least right
interesting.
now, people that raise goats for meat, the milk production is very minimal.
No, it's not true.
No. In France, actually, there's a lot of cheese made of goat milk.
Yeah.
A lot. So no, actually, it depends on the culture. Maybe less in the United States. Maybe I don't think you have that many.
I'm saying
He's from
I'm doing India.
he's talking about India.
Oh, okay.
Baking does is in Rotterdam where they live right next to the hill. They keep goats and the goats are running around.
Okay.
But not Vaishnavas. Not
Well,
not
that's true. We
religious
don't
speaking.
see. I mean, right now we don't see. I guess no. In the village, you might find in tradition in the village in India, you might find people with goats also.
In Chhattisgarh they have
The- Well, if you go in Ekachakra, you see a bunch of goats also. They do have goats.
Usually
Sierra,
Muslims.
Sierra is also saying that not only, when I said they eat everything, they eat the bramble, like all the sharp, thorny things.
Ah,
So they help keep the paths
wow.
clean and
That's
free for Krishna.
wow. This is the answer. That's very nice. Very nice. Thank you. Thank you for that sweet detail. So yes, and they all have different names. You know, the gopas with the cows and the buffaloes. But first are the cows, next is the buffaloes, and third is the goats. That's how they go. And do you know why Krishna goes in the back when he hears the cows? There's a special secret there.
When Krishna goes in the back.
Yes, he doesn't go in the front.
So they bathe in the dust raised by the hooves.
That's one thing for sure. Definitely, that's one thing because actually that's a beautiful detail. Thank you for sharing that. Because the dust of Vrindavan is very special because it's alive, you know. And actually, when Krishna, for those of you, I mean, or for most of you who've been to Yamuna, you know, it's very special. When you go to Yamuna, actually, even today, when you look at the sand of the Yamuna, it looks like crystal or diamonds, like diamond powder. It's very special, you know. So it's the same with the dust of Vrindavan. Actually, it's jewels. It's Chintamani. It's made of prema. You know, when Krishna walks on the, that's why the Brajbasis or even the Vaishnavas, they want to become a speck of dust in Vrindavan. Why? Because actually the speck of dust is, it's so glorious because every time Krishna walks on the soil of Vrindavan, every speck of dust is like touching his feet and receiving his love for Radharani. And no, actually that's not that. It's more described what it is with his feet, but it's more described when Krishna plays the flute. The dust of Vrindavan collects the sound of the flute playing, and when Radharani she walks, then they collect her love for Krishna through her feet like that. So the dust collects Krishna's love for Radharani when he plays the flute, and Radharani's love for Krishna in the sole of her feet because her feet are very precious for Krishna. You know, so that's how it is very glorious. You know, in Vrindavan. And when Krishna is dressed with the dust of Vrindavan, then it's just like jewels surrounding his ornaments on his body. You know, it's very beautiful. And then Krishna has a very, very special beauty because we cannot fathom ourselves when we're dusty from head to toe. We don't look so beautiful. But but in Vrindavan, when you're dusted by the dust of Vrindavan, you become very beautiful with all the jewels and the feelings that are, you know, like collected through each particle of dust.
Chintamani dust.
Chintamani dust, yeah, that is why, exactly.
Fulfills all desires.
Yeah, exactly.
One funny example I like to think of is in the Parikram Marg in Govardhan, you'll see the monkeys kind of like padding through the dust. And you see them pick something up and put it in the rock.
Oh, seriously?
They decide they want to eat something. So they pass through the sand and they'll find a grain and put it in the rock.
Well, that's very nice. So, for those who did not hear him, probably Prabhuji was saying that actually the monkeys in Vrindavan, you see them, they kind of paddle with their fingers, you know, they pat on the dust like that. And sometimes you see them eating stuff, you know, from the dust of Vrindavan. So must be very sweet, yes. I remember, that's just a side note, just a little joke. I was in, because you see in this world monkeys eating all kinds of things. I was in South America, and there was this monkey with very long hair, like it was kind of like a reddish in color hair, and he had a very red face. And he went on my shoulders like that, and he was looking through my head, and he was actually picking up stuff from my head. I didn't have so much long hair, but he could go like that and just put in his mouth. Like, what is he eating? So monkeys, yeah, they eat all kinds of things also, you know. So yes, basically, we went somewhere else.
Krishna walking behind the cow.
Yes.
And
The
what's
question
reason?
which was not answered. So why is Krishna walking behind the cows?
Because he wants to follow in footsteps of the cows.
Yes, that's one thing. All these are good answers, but it's because he wants to see where is Radharani. That's why he goes in the back. So he's looking around. He has a better vision, so he can see if he can spot Radhara near the gopis. That's what is described by the acharyas. Okay, so little beautiful details about the cows, how they are dressed. Sometimes the cows' tails are decorated with peacock feathers and sometimes with clusters of pearls. Many wear auspicious necklaces of Navaratna, 9 gems. Just like we have for flowers, 9 kind of flowers. There's also even 9 kind of vegetables. What is it called? Rice, special rice also.
Yeah, Navratna.
Navaratna rice, no?
Yeah, yeah.
No, the same name, no? So they also have others, like they have jeweled crowns between their horns. And it is even said that Nanda's herd has no equal, as all his cows are exquisitely beautiful, adorned with countless virtues, and have good character. They walk very serenely, with others full. They simply float along the fields of Braj like wonderful clouds of love. Their affectionate mooing resonating like thunder, and their tail movements sparkling like lightning. And the gopis also engaged, because I was meditating on this once because I love cows, and I was thinking, what are the gopis doing with the cows? What do you think? Which kind of service the gopis do in relationship with the cows?
Do they decorate them?
They decorate them, yes, that's one thing.
They milk them.
They milk them also, yes.
Make cow products.
Yes, that's what I wanted to hear. There are countless young gopis who collect cow dung, and older gopis who sit in circles making a large cow dung patties. Yeah. So everyone is connected to the cow in Vrindavan. You know. What is the first ingredient of Brahminical culture?
Okay.
Ghee. Like without ghee, you cannot do a fire yagya for a ceremony. You cannot do, So ghee, the cow is really the basis of Brahminical culture. So, yes, something beautiful also about the barns, a little bit about the cows. So the barns resemble the multicolored lakes in Kuvara's domain, and the rows of white clouds are like the many rivers descending from the celestial realm. Their flowing milk is like the water of these rivers, and the cowards trying to prevent the calves from running off are the fish in the river. The milk pots are like turtles. The faces of the gopis collecting cow dung are like lotus flowers. The white and red calves are like chakravaka birds, and the raised tails of the cows are like moss in the river. The affectionate mooing is like resonant thunder, and the movement of their tails is like sparkling lightning. So, I want to go back to the milking of the cow, because there's one very beautiful detail I'd like to share with you. Braj is full of colors. And actually, when the cows are being milked, there's not only one color of milk. There's all kinds of colors of milk, just like there are different colors of cows. We know, we're saying 4 main colors, but some cows are purple, some are green, some are brown, some are have different spots on them. And we know the gopas, what they do. They put their hands in cow dung, fresh cow dung, and they tattoo the cows like that, And I was thinking about that this morning. I was meditating on the grumpy cows here. And I was thinking maybe we should, because they're a little grumpy, we should maybe put fresh cow dung in our arms and tattoo them a little bit. Maybe that would pacify them a little bit. So sometimes they use cow dung to tattoo them, and sometimes also they use mineral powders to put all kinds of colors on the cows. And each cow has a particular milk also, different consistency. Like this morning, I was boiling some milk, and I'm not used, because in France we don't have milk like that where I am. And as I was taking some milk, there was so much cream. I took out the spoon, and it was so creamy, and I just took my thumb like that, and my fingers were full of cream, and I was looking. I said, "Wow, this is gold!" And it's funny because everything that is connected to the cows, you can see its mode of goodness. Although my hands seemed dirty, full of cream, it felt so much refreshing and so much purifying. For those who are working with cows, also, as I was a little gopa taking care of the cows in Karnataka, I remember that actually I had my 2 feet. I let go at some point. I let go of my shoes, or not my shoes, but my tongs, and I just like I was using my bare feet, you know, and I was in two bare feet in the cow dung like that, you know, and making compost or just washing the goshala, you know, taking out the urine and the cow dung. And you feel it, huh, when you have your 2 feet like that, your hands, everything, you know, in the cow dung and the urine, you feel it so fresh, so purifying. You can only feel goodness when you're connected to these things like that. Huh? So the milk is different colors, different textures, and according to the color, there are different flavors also. We know Mother Yashoda, that morning of Damodar Lila, she wanted to give special milk and boil special milk to Krishna from the two of Krishna's favorite cows. She brought them, or the Gopas brought them into a very special forest in Govardhan, where they chewed on special grass. And you know what was the taste of that milk that morning? Out of the special grass and the special cows, was the taste of red lotus, that milk. Yeah, amazing. Huh? So the milk is all kinds of colors, and Nanda Maharaj, he counts after Daruka, he makes sure that the Gopas, they did a good job. But first of all, one thing I forgot is that the cow, I mean, they're sakas, they're young boys, so naturally they like to do mischief. So what they do, they don't only like milk the cows, but they also spread milk on the other cow, or sometimes they try to spread in the mouth of someone else. And they also take fresh cow dung and they do cow dung battles, you know. And when Daruka arrives at the end, he sees them like with cow dung from head to toe, like that, completely, you know, full of cow dung. And it's, oh, what have they done, you know? But again, he's so much touched by the love of the sakas that he embraces them to his person like that. And then they all bring, there's a special like recipient, a huge like container for the milk. And it's also, again, it's, how can we fathom, but they all go in the same container, but after that it's all, it's the milk, because it's a person, is able to be separated properly after that. You know? It's like, although there's all kinds of milk, all kinds of different colors, when it is used for cooking, mystically everything is transferred and like separated like spontaneously. This is Vrindavan, everything is alive. So it's already 10 past 10, and I didn't finish all I wanted to speak with you, but I think we'll stop there. Because the glories of Nandagram and Vraj are unlimited. So thank you so much for this opportunity to glorify our cows. Jai Gomata ki, Jai Shri Krishna Balarama ki, Jai Shri Giri Govardhana ki, Jai Shri Nandagram ki, Jai Nitai Gaura Premanande.
Hari Hari Bol.
How many people joined on the Zoom?
Sorry.
Go ahead, Prabhu.
Maharaj, I was actually incorrect. It's not Vita. Vita Saka's the like romantic,
Oh, okay.
fine dressers, artistic sakas that help Krishna get ready before he goes to see gopis.
Mm-hmm.
Vidu Saka is the clown, the
What's-
buffo.
Vidu Saka. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We will not forget that one. How can we forget
Thank
the
you
Vidu
so much,
Sakas?
Maharaj.
Thank you so much, Haribol. Thank you for being there.